I had to find a way to get out of my head and let God in my heart before I could get sober. So I'm going to tell you how I got here. So I've done 25 years behind the fence in the penitentiary. I've got 8 DUIs, I've got 11 driving on suspended, I've got 3 trafficking charges, I've got 4 manufacturing charges. I have spent over half of my life in prison since I was the age of 18 years old. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story about how I got there. I was born in Augusta, Georgia. I was born poor. We didn't have any money. Really struggled when I was a kid. You know, I mean, people made fun of me all the time because mom and dad was an alcoholic, and they always fought out in the yards, and so everybody kind of looked down on me all the time. I never fit in with none of the other crowd. So that made me hate going to school. I go to school, and people make fun of me because of how my family was. So I had 4 older sisters, right? So I always like to find a little humor and everything, so I had to wear hand-me-downs. You know what I mean? 4 older sisters. You can imagine the clothes I was wearing. No pink dresses. No pink dresses, I promise. Some of the shirts was kind of girlish, but it's all right, though. And I got made of the whole time I was going through school. So it made me hate school, hate going to school, because every time I went to school, every time they made fun of me. So I can remember when we moved to Kentucky when I was in about 5th grade. And I had failed kindergarten. Anybody failed kindergarten? No, y'all smarter than I am. How about 2nd grade?
I failed first.
I failed 2nd twice. So when I moved to Kentucky at 5th grade, I was the biggest guy in the class, in the whole school. That's missed so many classes, right? So I become a bully. Let me tell you why I become a bully, because my whole childhood, all I ever seen was my mom and dad fight. And then I had my 4 older sisters, and I seen their boyfriends treat them bad. So at a very young age, I learned how to treat women. And that was with violence. That's all I ever knew. Like I say, I was a bully in school, and that stuck with me throughout my life. By the time I was 12 years old, I was drinking alcohol, and I was smoking weed. By the time I was 16, I was snorting cocaine and meth. And by the time I was 18, I was a full-blown addict, shooting everything possible to shoot up in your arms. I have blowed every vein in my body. I cannot, when they take blood with me, they got to do the ultrasound thing on me. They can't get no blood out of me. I blowed the veins in my arms, I blowed them in my legs, and I blowed them in my feet. I have no veins to pull blood from today. And that's how it started. At 16 years old, I got married, my first marriage. Let's don't forget, I'm very self-centered. It's all about Junior. I was 16, she was 36.
Junior.
Well, she had a car, she had a truck, she had a job, she had alcohol, she had drugs. I said, baby, I love you. Let's get married. You know what I mean? She had everything I wanted. You know what I mean? It wasn't about her, it was about me. It lasted 6 months. She got me in there with an old woman. She divorced. Didn't last long. So I beat her up and get a divorce. And the reason I say I beat her up, because every woman I've ever been with in my life, I whooped. Because that's how I was raised. That's all I ever knew in my life. I seen Dad beat Mama. I seen my sister's boyfriends beat them. So I thought that's exactly how life is supposed to be. You're driving me crazy not to move around. So at 18 years old, I catch my first felony charge. Go to penitentiary. I get assault on a police officer. They give me 5 years, and they said you're going to do every day of it. I've done 60 months, so I've done every day of the 5-year sentence at 18 years old. So that become a lifestyle to me, because that's how my life went through all the way up until I was 52. Got out of penitentiary. My first phone call was, if you come pick me up, you better have some drugs or alcohol in the car, or I'm going to whoop you all the way home. That was my first phone call every time I got out of penitentiary. If you don't bring me some drugs and alcohol when you come, I'm going to whoop you all the way home. So they made sure. So by the time I got in the car and got home, I was already obliviated when I got there. So I dropped back on the track again. About 4 months out of penitentiary, I get married again. I meet this little, remember, I'm self-centered young man. I meet this little young girl, right? Mom and Dad had plenty of money. Plenty of money. I thought, okay, I'm going to get in on this. I ain't got to work. They'll take care of me. I ain't got nothing to worry about. So that's what I done. I said, baby, I love you. You want to get married? And she said, yeah. We get married. She winds up getting pregnant. Come home from work one night. I was out of town working, come home to catch her in bed with another man. So beat him up. I beat her up, pregnant. I knock him out. When I knock him out, when I get done knocking him out, I take a knife and I carve my initials in his chest. It took 68 stitches and cost me $90,000 in restitution and 6 years in penitentiary. So I'm back in the penitentiary again. It's become a cycle to me. So now in the penitentiary, I'm more comfortable in the penitentiary than I am at home. Because I'm doing most of my time in the penitentiary. Go to penitentiary, I do that time, and I get out and I meet this other woman, which I've known her for years. And I thought, remember when I met her, I pulled into a gas station and I was so high, I didn't even know where I was at. And I was on my way to make a drug deal. And she said, why don't you just go to my house and chill out for a while? And you can do your thing in the morning. So I said, okay, and I did. Well, that led up to, hey baby, I love you. You gonna get married? But let me tell you why I married her. So I was dealing drugs, right? And I let her in on all my business. She knew my dope man. She knew the people I sold dope to. She knew all my little dealings. So we get busted and I go to penitentiary. Go to jail. We get bonded out, and I'm thinking, boy, if I marry her, she can't testify against me. See, if it's self-centered again, okay, all about me. So I said, baby, I love you. You want to get married? She said, yeah. So we get married. So I tell her, so we was married 7 years, and we spent 2 together, and I spent another 5 in the penitentiary. So when I got out of the penitentiary, I told her what I'd done. I said, I really love you. I married you because I want you to testify against me. Can you imagine what kind of piece of shit I am today? She really don't like me. So that goes on for a while, and I'm in and out of penitentiary, Can't break the cycle. I forgot to mention the 3 escape charges I got because they're very important that I shared them with y'all today because it's very important in my life. It's really hard to deal with, always has been, always will be. While I'm in the penitentiary, my mom dies. If you got 3 escape charges on you, they're not going to let you go to the funeral. So I was not allowed to go to the funeral. So I get out and I go back to the penitentiary. My dad dies. I don't get to go to the funeral again. So then I get out again and I go back and I got a sister who dies. And I can't go to her funeral. That's a really big part of my life that I can't let go of. It's something, we can get a car back, we can get a job back, we can get a house back, but you can't get your family back. And I never was being able to be there for my family when they died. It was real tough on me for a long time. So I got sober and figured out how to get through it. But I had to deal with it all my life. That's enough about my war stories. I think you pretty much know where I've been, what it was about. So, at 52 years old, I'm sitting on the bunk in the penitentiary, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? They're telling me it's time to make parole. Well, you need to find out who you're going to make parole, how you're going to get out. I said, okay, so I decided I'd call my sister. She's the only one that got left out of 4. I called her up, and I said, hey sis, if it's to make parole, then anyway, maybe I can come to your house. She said, Junior, have you lost your damn mind? And I thought, what are you talking about, sis? She said, you don't remember stealing my car? You don't remember stealing the stuff out of my garage? You want to pawn it? She said, you don't remember taking money out of my purse? She said, do you not remember the night that you slapped me? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't remember a lot of that because my whole life, 40 years, I was so messed up. 40 years of my life that I don't remember what went on in my life. I don't remember a whole lot of it. But she reminded me. And she said, hell no, you can't come to my house. So I make a few phone calls to these so-called friends we got, right? I said, hey, I think maybe I got 1 or 2 phone calls answered, and they were like, man, you're stupid. I can remember back in the day how much people really liked me. They would drive 12 miles around my house so I wouldn't ask them to go to the bar with them. Because they knew if I went to the bar with them before the night was over, we would get in a fight. And if there was nobody there to fight, I would fight whoever drove. Because I was a violent drunk. Every time I drank, I was getting in a fight. So I'm sitting in the penitentiary, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Nobody loves me. Oh, poor old Junior, oh, poor old Pitiful Junior, oh, selfish finger, piece of shit. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I've been through SAP, and I've been through SOAR, and I've been through all these programs, and I've done this, and I've done that, and I let some sink in, and most of it I just let go in one ear and not the other, right? But when you're sitting in front of somebody and they're telling you, well, it's time to go, so what are you going to do? So I don't want to face the biggest fear I got in my life. The biggest fear in my life today is dying alone. I never want to die alone. I always want somebody to be there for me. If I go back to the penitentiary, I'm going to die alone, young man, because nobody cares about you in the penitentiary. You got these buddies you roam with in there, but they don't love you. You know what I mean? And I don't want to die alone. So I had to make a choice. And this SOAR program that I was at, man, you know, God puts you where He wants you to be when it's time to put you there. And He put me into a SOAR program. That's all I talked about was Shepherd's House, Shepherd's House, Shepherd's House, Shepherd's House. And people talk about the structure at Shepherd's House and all this and all that. And I said, well, I don't think I want to go there. Hell, I'm in the penitentiary. I don't want to go there. So it come time to go, man, and I had to make a choice. And that's what I tell people today, man. We have a choice. We have a choice. It's either going to be the right choice or it's going to be the wrong choice. But you have a choice. So I come to that end of that road and I had to make a choice what I want to do. So I decided I would try something different. Now let me say this, I have never in my life relapsed. Never. Because ever since I started doing drugs up until I was 50 years old, I said I would do drugs till the day I died. And I meant that. But at 52, I made a choice to try something different. And that's what I try to share with people today. Don't cheat yourself out of the opportunity of not taking a chance of trying something different. Don't cheat yourself out of it. Try it. If you don't like it, leave. But if you do, it might work. Because it worked for me. It took me one time to make a choice to try something different, and my life changed. Probably one in a million, but it worked. And that's what it's about, taking that chance to try something different. So that's what I did. And I went to the Shepherd's House. And I went to the Shepherd's House and they told me I had to do 90 meetings in 90 days. I had to get a sponsor. I had to get a home group. I had to clean toilets. I had to clean ceiling fans. I had to wash off. I said, y'all lost your damn mind. I said, no, I'm not doing all that. I'm a convict. How you going to tell me I got to do all that? They told me, well, you can leave. He said, you can leave. Where was I going? Back to the streets. And I finally realized at 52 years old that if I continue doing the same things over and over, I'm going to keep getting the same results. So you know what I did? Then 90 minutes, 90 days, I got a sponsor, I worked the steps, I cleaned toilets, I wiped ceiling fans, I done everything they asked me to do. And the hardest thing I ever do in my life, man, was be humble. It was hard, because I'm a man's man. You hear me? I'm a man's man. I'm tough. How you going to tell me what to do? I'm a convict. But I did. I took the opportunity, and I said, okay, I'm going home myself. I'm going to do this, because I don't want to die alone. And if I go back to the penitentiary, I'm going to die alone, because I just finished a 12-year sentence. If they get me again, it's going to be a life sentence. Just finished 12. Didn't want to go back, because I wasn't going to get back out if I did. So I made the choice to try something different in my life. So I went to Shepherd's House and I done everything they asked me to do. I was 2 days at the Shepherd's House and they told me, say, if you don't get a sponsor within 2 weeks, we're kicking you out of the program. So this kid walks in this night and his face is all messed up, right? I don't know. I thought, oh my God. And I'm standing back at the table making fun of him. I'm going to tell y'all what. You know, man, I'm trapped in everything's funny. He can make shit to me. And I was making fun of this kid, man. Couldn't find out he was giving his lead that night. And And I was talking about how I bet this kid ain't got no friends, I bet he ain't got no family, I bet nobody likes him, I bet he never had a girlfriend, but he ain't got a job. And he was giving his lead tonight, and he was telling us how much all this stuff he had. He had a good job, he just bought a new car, he's been sober for 3 or 4 years, he's got a checking account, he's got this, he's got that, and I thought, you know what, I believe I could probably trick him. He's a little young, about 36, and I was 52, I said, I would play him. You know how the players, right? I was a player, I was a hustler. I was a hustler. I said, hey, I can get over on this kid. So I go up and ask this kid to be my sponsor. He says, call me for 7 days. And I said, okay. So I called him for 7 days, and on the 7th day, we sat down at the table. He said, Junior, you got more hate in you than I've seen in anybody in my life. He said, you hate everything, don't you? I said, yeah, I do. And at the time, I did. And he told me, he said, if you'll sit down with me for a year and go through these steps, he said, I will love you to love yourself again. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm straight out of penitentiary, right? I thought it was a game. I didn't know, you know what I mean? I thought, hey, I had to make sure I knew what I was getting into, you know what I mean? But let me tell you what this gentleman done, man. This gentleman saved my life. The gentleman is the reason I'm standing here before you today.
Is he here?
So, you know, I was telling you his face was all messed up. So he went to have surgery done on his face because every time he would eat, food would fall out, right? He just wanted to get his face fixed where he wouldn't lose his food, right? They put him to sleep and he never woke back up. He died at 36 years old. And you remember I was telling you about how I thought he didn't have no friends, and nobody cared about him, nobody. So I went to his wake, right? The biggest wake I ever been to in my life. It was over 600 people in this funeral home. Over 600 people. And I thought, oh my God, man, look at the life what he has changed in these people's life. It was amazing. I get ready to walk out the door, right, and this gentleman's walking in, and he says, Junior, you okay? And I said, yeah. He said, boy, he left a legacy behind him. And I said, yeah, he did. He said, now it's time for you to take over. He said, you got to carry on his legacy. And y'all, that's what I do today. I try to take everything that I learned from that guy because he saved my life. He turned my life around, and he put me back in the game. He showed me something I never knew nothing about, and that's how to live a normal life without drugs and alcohol. So that's what I do today. I try to share that message. Everything that he's taught me, I try to share it with everybody else today. When I get up every morning, my first prayer in the morning is, God, please put somebody in front of me that I may be able to help today. And I live by that. I work at a house that's got over 100 people in it. And when you walk into my office in the mornings and take your medication, you better have a smile on your face. If not, you're going to have one before you leave. Because I want you to start your day out beautiful. I don't want you to start your day out bad. However you start your day out, that's usually how your day's going to be. So that's what I do. Because of the Shepherd's House and because of the AA program, I have a beautiful life today. A beautiful life. Amazing things has happened to me in my life today. I am a pill junkie, I'm a needle junkie, and I'm alcoholic. And I have a temper that's outrageous. People ask me today, say, Junior, how did you ever get through all that? And I said, well, it's real simple. It's only that far away. And they said, what do you mean it's that far away? I said, I had to get out of Junior's head and let God in my heart. And until I done that, I didn't have a chance in life. Did not have a chance. So it's not Junior's way today, it's God's way. You know, I tell God every day, God, do thy will, not mine. Because I know where my will gets me. Where it's always got me. 25 years in the penitentiary. Today I don't have to live that lifestyle. Today I get to get up instead of coming to. And that's an amazing thing. I never thought that would happen to me in my life because all I ever done was come to. You know, I always woke up dope sick, you know, feeling real bad or looking for that next lick or looking for that next drink. Today I don't have to do that. And I am so blessed for that. It's because of the Shepherd's House and the AA program. I told him I was gonna keep this kind of short, and I am. I pretty much got everything in. But I do want to say something though. It's a beautiful thing that y'all doing. I am so grateful that we're invited to be part of it. This is what we do for a living. And it's not for the money. If it was, we would be in real bad shape. We do this because I'm gonna tell you one little story. There's these people out in the woods, right? And this is what this is all about. There's these people out in this forest, right? And there's people walking around, they're talking about paradise, right? And so they all come together and they said, hey man, I keep hearing everybody talking about this paradise thing. Let's go out and see if we can find it. So they all get together, they pull the stakes, pull the tents up, they take off. So they take off through the woods looking for paradise. As they're going through there, it goes through years. So that people die off, people quit, people just give up, and just don't go no more. So there's 4 of them left. They come to the bottom of this hill. And they say, come on, let's go to the top of the hill and see if paradise is on the other side. So they run to the top of the hill and they look over the other edge. Sure enough, there's paradise. 2 of them take off running. So there's 2 left on top of the hill, and one looks at the other and he says, come on man, let's go. The other one says, no. I'm going to go back and get the ones that's lost. That's what we do. That's what somebody had to do for me. If somebody did take me by the hand and lead me down that path and show me to the top of that hill, I wouldn't be here today. So we leave no man behind. I need no phone calls unanswered. And we try to help everybody that we come across today. I'm going to close this up with this right here. I've got some business cards out there in my car. And they got my name on them. And they got my number on them. I'm not trying to sell nobody to Shepherd's house. It's not what I'm here to do today. But what I want you to do, I want everybody to take one of my cards. And if you ever run across somebody on the street and they ever need somebody to talk to, my number is on that card. I never turn my phone off. You can call me anytime you want to and I'll answer it. Because that's what we do. That's what we all supposed to do. You never know when somebody just needs somebody to say, hey, you need some help. I don't think enough people do that today. I don't think enough people just look at you and say, hey, how's your... I'll walk by you and say, hey, how you doing today? And I just keep walking. That's not what we do, man. Hey, how you doing? Anything going on in your life I can help you with? Go a little further. Don't just stop at how you doing. I'll see what I can do about that. Thank y'all again for having me here, for having the Shepherd's house here. Man, we're so grateful to be here. Thank you and bless y'all all.